Welcome to Behind the Veiled Truth. I aim to unravel the chilling narrative of Joachim Georg Kroll, a German serial killer whose heinous acts spanned over 2 decades from 1955 to 1976. Known as the Ruhr Cannibal, Ruhr Hunter, and Duisburg Man-Eater, Kroll's story is a grim exploration of psychological deviance, environmental triggers, and the elusive nature of a predator hiding in plain sight. Let's delve into his life, crimes, and psyche, weaving a narrative that's as engaging as it is disturbing, while grounding it in psychological analysis and the available evidence. Hi, guys. I want to ask you for a favor. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you for your effort. Enjoy the video. The Making of a Monster, Kroll's Early Life. Joachim Kroll was born on April 17, 1933 in Hindenburg, now Zabrze, Poland, then part of Nazi Germany. The sixth of 9 children in a miner's family, Kroll grew up in a world shadowed by hardship. His father, a prisoner of war during World War II, left the family to navigate the chaos of post-war displacement, eventually settling in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany. Little is known about Kroll's childhood dynamics, but what we do know paints a picture of struggle, an IQ of 76, placing him on the borderline of intellectual disability, chronic bedwetting, and relentless bullying due to his academic failures and short stature. These early experiences likely fostered a sense of isolation and inadequacy, common precursors to deviant behavior in serial offenders. Kroll's fascination with violence emerged early. As a boy, he was reportedly aroused by the sight of pigs being slaughtered, the blood sparking a fixation that would later manifest in his crimes. He mutilated dolls in ways that eerily foreshadowed his later modus operandi, suggesting an early development of sadistic and necrophilic tendencies. From a behavioral psychology perspective, these acts could indicate a learned association between violence, blood, and arousal, reinforced through repeated exposure or fantasy. His inability to form relationships with women, coupled with reported impotence outside a violent context, further isolated him, pushing him toward a world of dark fantasies. The death of Kroll's mother in 1955, when he was 22, appears to have been a pivotal moment. While the exact nature of their relationship is unclear, the temporal link between her passing and the onset of his killing spree suggests a profound psychological trigger. In forensic psychology, the loss of a significant figure, especially a parent, can destabilize an already fragile psyche, potentially unleashing suppressed impulses. For Kroll, this loss may have severed a final tether to societal norms, propelling him into a 21-year reign of terror. The killing spree, a predator's pattern. Kroll's crimes began in 1955 with his first documented victim, Irmgard Strill, a 19-year-old woman raped and mutilated in a barn in Ludinghausen. From 1955 to 1976, he killed at least 14 people, primarily women and young girls, across the Ruhr region. His victims ranged in age from 4 to 61, showing no strict preference, which challenged traditional profiling assumptions about serial killers who typically target a specific demographic. This variability made Kroll exceptionally difficult to catch, as did his strategic movement between cities and his knack for blending into the chaos of other killers operating in the region, such as Werner Boost. Kroll's modus operandi was methodical yet grotesque. He would surprise his victims, often strangling them quickly to subdue them. Post-mortem, he engaged in necrophilia, mutilating the bodies and sometimes masturbating over them. His cannibalism, which became his grim hallmark, involved slicing flesh, often from the buttocks or thighs, to cook and consume later, allegedly to save on grocery bills. This claim, while chillingly practical, likely masked a deeper psychological compulsion. From a behavioral perspective, cannibalism can represent an ultimate act of control and possession, a way for Kroll to internalize his victims and extend his dominance beyond their death. His use of a rubber sex doll for further necrophilic acts at home underscores a fixation on power and objectification, common in offenders with necrophilic tendencies. Key incidents highlight the horror of his crimes. In 1959, Kroll murdered Clara Frieda Tesmer, taking flesh from her body to cook, while an innocent man, Heinrich Ott, was wrongly arrested and died by suicide. In 1970, 13-year-old Jutta Rahn was strangled, with another man, Peter Shea, falsely accused. Kroll's final known victim, 4-year-old Marion Ketter, marked the end of his spree in 1976. Her dismembered body was found in Kroll's apartment, parts in the fridge, a hand boiling on the stove, and entrails clogging the waste pipe. This gruesome discovery came after a neighbor's complaint about a blocked pipe, to which Kroll casually replied, "Guts," unwittingly sealing his fate. The arrest, a chilling discovery. On July 3, 1976, Duisburg police were searching for Marion Ketter when a neighbor's tip led them to Kroll's apartment at Friesenstrasse 24 in Lahr. The scene they encountered was so horrific that seasoned detective Max Riese reportedly fainted. Marion's remains were scattered, some refrigerated, some cooking, and her organs clogging the plumbing. Kroll's calm admission to her murder, followed by confessions to 13 other killings and one attempted murder, revealed the extent of his depravity. His belief that he'd be released after sterilization reflects a profound disconnect from reality, possibly tied to his low cognitive functioning or a delusional sense of invincibility. Kroll's ability to evade capture for so long was remarkable. He was strategic, rarely killing in the same place twice and capitalizing on the presence of other killers to obscure his crimes. His unassuming demeanor, neighbors called him Uncle Joachim for his kindness to children and toy-filled apartment, made him an unlikely suspect. This duality is a hallmark of many serial killers who compartmentalize their lives to blend into society. Psychologically, Kroll's low IQ and social marginalization may have fueled his need for control through violence, while his outward friendliness served as a mask to deflect suspicion. Psychological profile: Unraveling the Mind. As a forensic psychologist, Kroll's profile is a complex interplay of developmental, environmental, and psychological factors. His low IQ and history of bullying suggest a fragile self-concept, likely exacerbated by social rejection and sexual dysfunction. The fixation on blood and slaughter from childhood points to a paraphilic development where violence became intertwined with arousal. His mother's death in 1955 may have acted as a stressor, unleashing latent impulses, though the lack of detailed family history limits our understanding of specific triggers. Behaviorally, Kroll's crimes reflect operant conditioning. The act of killing, raping, and cannibalizing provided psychological reinforcement, satisfying his need for power and control. His cannibalism, in particular, suggests a rare form of anthropophagy driven by both practical, economic, and symbolic domination motives. Necrophilia and mutilation further indicate a need to dehumanize victims, reducing them to objects for gratification. His use of a sex doll as a substitute suggests an inability to engage in normal sexual relationships, redirecting his impulses toward inanimate or deceased objects. Kroll's lack of a specific victim profile is unusual. Most serial killers exhibit clear preferences, but Kroll's opportunism, targeting both men and women, young and old, suggests a disorganized yet adaptable offender. This adaptability, combined with his low profile, allowed him to operate undetected for decades. His confessions, delivered without apparent remorse, align with a psychopathic trait of emotional detachment, though his low IQ complicates a straightforward psychopathy diagnosis. Trial imprisonment and legacy: Kroll's trial, lasting 151 days, ended on April 8, 1982, with convictions for 8 murders and 1 attempted murder, earning him 9 life sentences. His confessions to 14 murders suggest a higher toll, and authorities suspected he was responsible for more. Incarcerated at Rheinbach prison, Kroll died of a heart attack on July 1, 1991, at age 58, closing a dark chapter in German criminal history. The Kroll case left a lasting impact on criminal profiling. His varied victimology challenged assumptions about serial killer patterns, highlighting the need for flexible profiling models. The fact that multiple innocent men were accused of his crimes, some dying by suicide, underscored the investigative challenges of the era, particularly in a region plagued by other killers. A haunting reflection, Joachim Kroll's story is a descent into the abyss of human depravity, a reminder of how ordinary facades can conceal unimaginable horrors. To his neighbors, he was Uncle Joachim, a quiet, generous man. To his victims, he was a monster who stole lives and violated their humanity in the most grotesque ways. Psychologically, Kroll embodies the collision of trauma, isolation, and perverse fixation, shaped by a life of marginalization and loss. Psychologically, Kroll embodies the collision of trauma, isolation, and perverse fixation, shaped by a life of marginalization and loss. His crimes, spanning 21 years, exposed the limits of early criminal profiling and the terrifying reality of a predator who thrived in the shadows. As we reflect on Kroll's legacy, we're left with a chilling question: how many other Uncle Joachims walk among us, their darkness hidden behind a neighborly smile? His case compels us to sharpen our understanding of the human psyche, to better detect and prevent such horrors before they claim more lives. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Until the next time,